Hello Scorpio, and welcome to your reading today. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I hope you're doing really well and that life is being kind to you. Let's see what advice Spirit had for us today, Scorpio. We're going to get straight into it. If you're joining me for the first time, you're very welcome. Please subscribe so that you know when the next videos are out. That would be really helpful for me too. Anyway, let's get started. Straight into your energy, Scorpio. Thank you, Spirit. Ooh, we have a never-ending story. We have clean it up. We have to the sea. And a change in the wind. I love that. I love it when we see progression in the first four cards. On the bottom of the deck, we have here and now. So we'll come to that in a moment. Let's just cover these in brief terms and then we'll elaborate with the tarot in just a second. So, Scorpio, there's either some unfinished business for you or there's something, well, same thing, I suppose, something you've been dealing with for a long time that feels like you're never going to get a conclusion to, you're never going to get an answer to. Yeah, it kind of feels, you look at her expression, this angel figure here, angel fairy figure, she looks really tired. She looks like she's just had enough of dealing with it all, you know? It may not be that it's draining you in that way, Scorpio. Obviously, this is a general reading. I say it every single time, so it will be different for all of you. But it feels like there's an ongoing situation that is causing you stress. You know, maybe has been a hassle. For some of you, it may just be something you're working on that you're having to be very focused on, and it's taking a lot of your energy, but not in a draining way, you know? So as I say, take what resonates for you. What I'm finding interesting, and I've never drawn attention to this before on this particular card, is the heart that we have in a bubble underneath. I'm just going to look at the writing on it. It's basically saying yes and no, and it's got love written in a heart. So for some of you, this could be a love situation. It's in a bubble. For some of you, it feels like you can't get a resolution to a love matter because you can't penetrate this outer protective bubble that's around it. So if you have someone in your life that has withdrawn, or someone who is just being reserved or refuses to communicate, then this could be what you're dealing with at the moment for some of you. Spirit are advising you, Scorpio, to just concentrate on your everyday life. It says clean it up. What we're talking about here is you just literally doing what you need to do. Just, you know, carrying on. If you're working, just going to work, you know, maybe sorting out things at home. Some of you may need to do a bit of a declutter to sort of clear the way for new energy to come in. But this is very much about you just taking control of the environment that you can control, because Spirit is saying this situation that you've been dealing with, you can't do any more than you're doing at the moment. So what you can do is focus. It's a bit like, it's mindfulness basically. Focus on the here and now. Focus on what's in front of you, but keep moving forward in terms of the jobs that you can do, the things that make your life a little bit easier every day. There is going to be forward movement though. This is one of my favourite cards in this deck because it's full of hope. And you see here, I hope you can see that in the camera, that there is a face here. This is about spiritual guidance. This is about you being watched over. This is about you being guided in your way forward. So we see an arrow on the front of this boat and it is pointing forward. We see a very calm sea. I'm just going to look at this card more clearly. I do need new glasses. There's like a telescope. Is it a telescope? Periscope? No, it's a telescope, isn't it? On the back of this boat that has obviously been used to view the forward journey. And look how calm this figure is. How relaxed they are moving forward in this calm sea. So yes, I do think that, you know, whatever this situation has been for you, Scorpio, you are going to see some forward movement, but for the time being, I think you're having to be just focusing on the here and now. We see this lovely, and this is why I said, I keep doing that, halfway through a sentence and change my thinking, but this is the way it goes, sadly. We see this forward movement, and this is what I said at the beginning about loving progression in the first 4 cards, because it clearly shows that you are heading towards a change. Now, this could be a life change for some of you, but equally, this could just be a change in this situation that you've been dealing with. Again, it'll be different for all of you. Let's see what that's about. Interesting, just before, I just want to acknowledge this card because it's on the bottom of the deck. I think once you've made this particular change, you will be able to stabilize, to sit again in the here and now, to decide, you know, which way forward you want to go when you're ready. I do think that stable time will come after this change. So if you've been dealing with a situation, if it's a relationship situation, things are difficult, you're finding communication difficult, you manage to just focus on the here and now for now. There's forward movement coming in, we see it clearly. It does lead to a change in this situation, and that will lead to stability in whatever shape and form it comes up. So I'm intrigued to see the tarot, to see if they give us any more information. They're saying to me that they want me to use these, which aren't tarot, but I'm going to do the tarot first. Is it these, Spirit? This isn't the ones that were in my mind, which is quite strange. They want me to pull them. This is very odd because this isn't the deck that was in my mind, but it's the deck that they guided me to pick up. So this is interesting. I'm going to pull these now just because of that strange situation. There must be a message in here. This isn't a deck I use very often. Is it the right deck, Spirit? Are we here? I do apologise, Scorpio. Give me a moment, please. They're a bit reluctant. They're giving me cards, but they're a bit reluctant. Let's see. We have homeward, and it says take yourself out on a date. So yeah, it feels like you've been dealing with this never-ending story for a while, and Spirit is saying, look, try and divert your attention a little bit at the moment. This is why they're telling you to stay focused on the here and now. Oh, wow. Be your own first priority. That's what it says. I don't know if you can see that clearly in the camera because they're quite faint, these cards. But yeah, this is about you focusing on you for the moment. I think you've done what you can do in that situation. Why have we got to the sea, please? What's this about? Slow down and celebrate yourself. It's all about your self-worth. It's all about you focusing on you at the moment, Scorpio. And interestingly, we have this to the sea card that is very calm energy. And here it says slow down and celebrate yourself. So yes, there will be calmness ahead, but it will enable you to move forward. And it says don't seek anyone's approval. So if there's a change coming up in your life or a change that you're making and you feel that others won't particularly like it, it's not for them to approve or not to approve, Scorpio. It's for you to follow what is right for you. But make sure it's right for you and not others that are influencing your decision. And Spirit is saying, weave together the crown you deserve. So this is about your self-worth. This is about you getting to a stage where you feel stable in a situation, where you can actually feel that you've made the changes that were necessary. Yeah, this is a deck very much about relaxation. So this was obviously, it says unplug and relax for a spell. So yes, this was definitely about things moving on but stabilizing after something you've been dealing with for quite a while. That's why they wanted us to pick it up. Interesting. Anyway, I'm going to pull some tarot. Which tarot deck? We're going to this tarot deck. Okay. Let's see what they want to tell us about this never-ending story. Wow, thank you. A big change ahead. There's going to be a big change in that situation. But it's not something that you need to force or you need to push, Scorpio. It's something that, you know, will happen when it's ready, you know. There's definitely a big change there. If you're not familiar with tarot, and I always say that with this deck, if you're not familiar with tarot, this is the death card. It doesn't mean somebody's going to die. Obviously it can in some instances, but we don't generally cover that anyway. This is about a major life change, okay? I always say that with this deck because this particular death card looks a bit intimidating at times. So, you know, don't be worried about that. But this does mean that this is a change. Now, it's usually a major change, but in these circumstances, this is a change regarding whatever that situation is that you've been dealing with for a while. Again, it's time for you to refocus. It's time for you to look out, you know, in your life, to look forward, to see where you want to make those changes. I don't think you need to be focusing on that issue at the moment. I think this focus is about you at the moment, Scorpio. That's a very clear feeling I'm getting from this reading. I don't feel this is your energy. You know, the Devil card comes in and it can mean a number of different things, as with most of the tarot. But with this, I don't feel this is your energy. I do feel there's people around you that may try to disrupt you focusing on yourself for a while. You focusing on just the here and now, getting things sorted, you know, getting on with your everyday, it sort of eliminating the stress in a way without doing anything, you know, just closing your mind to it for a while and focusing on the things in everyday life, as we said earlier. But I do feel there's people around you that will try to distract you from that. There may be people that constantly want to talk to you about that situation. And it's not what's for your highest good at the moment. It says on that card there, be your own first priority. So yeah, be very mindful of that, Scorpio. If you've sort of closed your mind to something at the moment so you can concentrate on just letting your mind heal a bit, letting your emotions heal a bit from a situation, try to discourage people around you, or try to distance yourself a little from people that constantly want to talk about it, because that's keeping that negative emotion active within you, and you don't need it at the moment. You need to switch off from it. So let's see what happens moving forward. What's this about, Spirit, please? What guidance do you have for Scorpio? Yeah, I do think that you've been through some sort of heartbreak, something that was very difficult. It doesn't need to be a romantic relationship. It can be relationships with friends, family. It can be romantic, obviously, but also you could have lost a job that you were very fond of, you know, that you didn't want to leave. It could be something like that. As I say, it will be different for all of you. But I do think that it has caused you upset. And as I said, the people around you keep referring to it, bringing it back into conversation. It's not helpful to you, and you need to make them aware of that while you just take some time for yourself to process, Scorpio. Yeah, just as I said it, here it is. This is you taking time to process. So, you know, we had the Three of Swords with the heartbreak. We have the Four of Swords, which is after the heartbreak, but it's left you feeling emotionally deflated is the phrase I want to use. You know, you've parked your swords. You don't want to do battle with anybody. You want things to calm down. And this is you taking that time out and that time to rest. They've just said, let sleeping dogs lie. But you're going to rise again, Scorpio. Look at this. I just love... Do you know, the Queen of Wands always makes me smile because she's got such a vibrant energy. She's a queen who's taken action to move forward, to get where she is. But she is... she's a strong character, you know. She's quite fearless. I mean, here we have her next to her pet dragon. But also she has a lovely little black pussycat. So, you know, she's not tough, but, you know, she's very flamboyant. She's sure of herself. And it kind of feels here that, you know, Spirit is saying to you, this is why we keep saying focus on you for the time being and block out anybody. It doesn't need to be the person involved in that situation, but the people around it that maybe you've talked to in the past or have had some involvement in the past, they need to stop talking to you about it. And I know you can't control that, but what you can do is remove yourself and focus on the things in hand, you know. And I do think that once you've had this rest period, Scorpio, you will be able to step into that Queen of Wands energy to decide what action you take to make your life fuller again, but in a more positive way rather than dragging negativity with you. And as it says, you don't need anyone's approval. We know this changes in the wind. Yeah, they're just acknowledging what I was saying about you having come from a time that was very difficult for you and left you feeling very, very low and in a very bad place. But you are, I'm going to put that underneath this Queen because they were just acknowledging where I was at. In fact, I'm going to swap them over because you are going to rise again, Scorpio, to be that full, vibrant, you know, out there sort of person. I'm just looking at where we're going to get to here because there was a stability with it. Do you want to give us a card for that, Spirit? Thank you. It was partially hidden. I think that time will come quite quickly. I think once you step into the Queen of Wands energy and you suddenly feel, you know, like you're, they've just said to me, not dragging bags of sand. You know, when you feel more vibrant, you feel more yourself and you feel able to, you know, live life more fully again, Scorpio, you are going to be able to move forward. And, you know, the Knight of Swords, he just cuts through any obstacles. In fact, he's a bit of like a bull in a china shop, but he does everything at speed. So I think once you've captured that feeling, and yes, the Queen of Wands is an action person. She's a wands, obviously. But I think it's more of a feeling. Once you feel more complete again, Scorpio, you will be able to move things forward quite quickly. And that moving them forward, ironically, is what will bring you some stability. So it could well be, as I said earlier, you moving this situation forward. You may have had a rest time, some time out, where you suddenly think, right, this is not how I want things to be. I'm going to take some action. I feel better in myself. We're going to sort this out, you know? And you may move forward to sort a situation out. Or for others of you, you will just find that you're feeling better and life will move forward to where you want it to be, you know? So, as I say, general reading, different for everybody. I'm going to pull one more card with the Knight of Swords. Where's the Knight of Swords leading, Scorpio, please? to a much better place, Scorpio. And there's also the Wheel of Fortune, because it's a wheel, can talk about completions of cycles also. It's not the usual meaning I give to this card, but it kind of feels right today. And I think it will lead you to much brighter feeling, much brighter place. It will enable things to settle down. So it will be either a resolution to that situation or a resolution in that your life has moved forward, whichever works out, you know, for your highest good. So I'm going to leave the tarot there for a moment. This is feeling like a mega long reading, so I'm just going to close with a couple of Moonology. Oop, that was quick. Yeah, believe in the impossible. If this situation feels stuck to you at the moment, or feels like there'll never be an answer, you just got to believe, Scorpio. If you set your intentions and, you know, make it clear to the universe, they will help and they will guide you. Remember when we had this card here, the movement forward came with spiritual guidance. So yes, believe in the impossible, because a new start is coming. Yeah, that's the energy I feel. This will turn around if that's what you want. Otherwise, you know, as I say, a new start is coming. And the answers you need are coming. So, you know, the big word here is resolution. There is going to be a resolution to a situation. Spirit are asking that you look at the bigger picture. And I think that you're going to get the chance to do that, Scorpio, if you pull your energy in and don't listen to everybody else that's perhaps still keeping that negativity alive. You know, if you can take the time to actually focus on you and what you want in your heart, then you're going to find the way forward here, and you've got a whole fresh start. Love it. Love this for you, Scorpio. It feels like quite a long reading today, so I hope you're still with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That's what you can do for me, because that's just so helpful. Thank you so much. And have a really, really great week. I look forward to reading for you soon. Take care, Scorpio. Bye.